Okay guys, so we got a little something different here. So I figure I'll upload a video on this. It's a 2007 Impala, and the rear bearings on this are a little different than normal because of what you actually got to take apart to change the bearing. So we'll get to that. Okay, so I got the drum off, caliper and drum off, and this has got those stupid Chevy one-piece emergency brakes. Absolutely hate them. Just because you gotta, if you ever have to replace it, you gotta either pull the bearing apart to slide it on without having to bend it outward to get it over the actual hub itself. But yeah, so you got 4 10mm bolts. Just go right in through here and slap your impact. So I'm gonna buzz these off, and we'll get to beating this off, and I'll show you how that's done. Pain in the butt. Okay guys, got our 4 bolts out. Now with these, I find it easier just to slide your emergency shoe up, right? Don't forget to pull your emergency brake little pistons out, because they're just gonna fly out anyway, and you don't want to lose that little push rod for the emergency brake lever. So we'll just pull these out on the self adjuster on this side, and we'll re-lube these when we put them back in. But yeah. Okay, so now that you got your e-brake out of the way, you can start beating the living crap out of your bearing to get it out, or use your slide hammer. I just beat it. I don't have a slide hammer. Okay guys, I almost forgot. You have to pull this little, push this little pin through here, disconnect your emergency brake lever. This spring here just pulls out, and it'll disconnect. It just hangs onto the emergency brake lever. But get all this apart before you start beating the wheel bearing out. Okay, so I'm just gonna get this emergency brake apart. Got a lot of rust. Alright. Well, that's that. Okay, so that'll just pull out from behind. So you got your spring, and then this lever will pull right out of the self adjuster or the emergency brake cable. But we're just gonna give that a little moving around, and what I like to do is get behind it and just kind of pry it out, and this little clip will pinch. That little clip there will pinch together as it pulls out, and then you'll see the slot right there where you can just pull the actual, bring it out back far enough that you can just put the cable through that little slot, and that's your e-brake cable disconnected. Okay guys, you see I got the emergency brake cable, and you just slide her through. Try and get this bar out, pull the bar out, and then slide the cable through the slot. There we go. And that's that. So now you can start beating your wheel bearing out. Alright guys, and don't forget to disconnect your ABS sensor, because you're going to have to pull that off to pull the bearing out. So I'll get that unclipped and pulled out. It's just a clip on the bottom and top, as you can see. Alright guys, we got this beat out. Oh yeah, lots of crusties. So don't forget, when you clean this out, take your die grinder, clean that all out, and then put some anti-seize on it for the next guy. But now you're going to see how to get this apart, because as you see, everything comes out all in one. As you see, there's 2 screws that hold this bracket on. You have to get this bracket off to be able to remove the backing plate to remove the bearing. Go figure. It's a Chevy. Because the adjuster for the brake actually holds that part of the bearing in, or the backing plate bearing, like it's a stupid design. I just don't understand why they did it this way. It just makes things so difficult. But so it's a T30, so best use one of these, right? Easy out. Make sure you clean your threads good before you try. Because if not, you strip this and you're in a world of heat. Because the screws go right through, so. And there's no sense in lubing it because the end doesn't even come out. So, we got that in there. Put on reverse. Now we just do what we can to give her some shock and awe. Shock and awe treatment. There we go. One. Yeah, as I said, don't try and take these out without a easy out that you can pound with a hammer, because you will definitely strip it. So we'll try and get this on here. The hardest part is just keeping it steady. And as you see, the condition of the backing plates, I would suggest ordering backing plates if yours are this bad, because the only way to put them on is by removing the bearing. So if you're replacing the bearing and your backing plates look like this, go ahead and replace them. Alrighty. So now that's your emergency brake bracket. Wouldn't worry about that boot right now. Now the hardest part is separating all that, because if you can see inside there, all that rust is holding the backing plate in. So it's literally just tap it, tappy tap tap. As Eve would say, tappy tap tap. So, nice and easy to break the rust, and your stupid emergency brake single shoe will get in the way. Beauty. Okay, we are separated. Now we can replace this. So I'll just clean this up a little bit with a wire brush and scrape it. Get most of that rust out. But like, Chevy pickups are the worst for backing plates. But I found this one was so oddly different. I'd do a video on it. Just because of the fact that you have to remove your cylinder to be able to remove everything else. But it's a bow tie thing. Yeah, at first I didn't understand it when I did the other side. I was like, what the heck could be holding this? And yeah, I realized e-brake and everything had to come loose. Alrighty, that's pretty darn good. But if my buddy decides to change it down the road, the backing plate, at least I'll have this here. At least I'll have this here all nicely cleaned out and put anti-seize so I can just quickly remove it and then go through the same process to replace the backing plate. That's a lot of corrosion in there. A lot of built up corrosion. Let's get the big chunks out, and then I'll use my little die grinder to clean it up. Don't push too hard because you don't want to oval a hole bigger than it already is. But that's what you get nowadays, everything built out of aluminum. Alrighty guys, so we're just going to give this a quick little buzz. Just feel for any high spots. Alrighty. That looks pretty darn good. Couple little nubs. Alright, so we're going to take a 5-minute break.
Alright.
Okay guys, we got this cleaned out the best we can. Cleaned up the rust on the outside so it fits in nice. And so now, you got to remember which way your plug goes. So on this side of the vehicle, the plug goes in this way. So that is the bottom there. So it goes just like that. Like so. That sits inside there. Then you got to put your emergency brake piston housing, I guess you'd call it, or something like that. You got to get your rubber through, which is usually half destroyed. Oh, sorry. First, you got to put your e-brake on. Then you got to put this up through. I think yesterday I put it inside a rim. I flipped it upside down in a rim to hold it in place. I think that's what I did. I can't remember. Stupid e-brake. There we go. Yeah, it's easy if you have it facing the vehicle. E-brake's in the way. Finally got her back, and I'm gonna drop her, slap that together. So with this video, I hope it, takes you guys only a half an hour to do this job, because when I did the other side, I was in a conundrum because it was bothering me how or why they put it together the way they did. Okay, so we are just going to put this up in like so. Get her semi-lined up. Grab her 10mm deep socket. And hopefully start a nut without dropping it. Try not to drop the nuts down there because it's a pain in the ass with that e-brake to get it back out. So we'll just get this nicely started so it'll hold. Beauty. And away we go. Just out of habit, I do everything in a cross pattern. And I always start threads by hand. See, some guys just automatically go for the impact. And then it's put on poor man Loctite, cross-threaded.
Yikes.
Alrighty, so my battery's gonna die. So I'm gonna get this back together.